Hello and welcome. My name is Al Barrows, and this is UFO Disclosure, the podcast that's meant to show an average person's reaction to all the UFO, UAP news from everywhere and anywhere. So in May, at a roundtable presentation to Congress from a panel of experts, Representative Eric Burlison from Michigan had sat next to prominent physicist Dr. Eric Davis, who told him about all the different species of alleged extraterrestrial beings that have visited Earth. Let's take a quick listen.
Multiple species? Are they like, what was their size, and how many are usually on a craft?
They're typically the multiple species. People are familiar with the Greys, the Nordics. People have talked about reptilians and insectoids.
Now, these claims have been around for a long time and generally dismissed, but this marked the first time that it was discussed at such a high level. Dr. Eric Davis told Burlison about the reptilians, the Nordics, the mantis or insectoid species, and of course, the Greys. But what exactly are the Greys? I found the answer to this and more on Universal Secrets. The Greys, also known as the Zeta Reticulans, they've become the most recognizable face of extraterrestrial life, appearing in countless UFO encounters, abduction stories, and conspiracy theories. But why are they the most famous? Why do they seem to have such a strong connection with the United States? Of all the reported alien encounters worldwide, the United States has the highest number of gray alien sightings. What could be the reason for that? Well, there are a few theories. First, there's Roswell, the most famous UFO incident in history. This is where two UFOs crashed, one of them containing gray alien occupants. The U.S. government quickly covered it up, claiming it was a weather balloon, but many believe this was the first solid proof of ET life on Earth. Then there's the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, one of the first widely publicized alien abduction stories, where a couple from New Hampshire were taken aboard a spacecraft and examined. This case introduced the now iconic image of the gray into mainstream culture. Even today, the United States continues to be a hotspot for gray-related sightings and conspiracy theories. Many believe that secret military bases like Area 51 and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base are used to study recovered gray technology and even live extraterrestrials. Some whistleblowers claim that the United States government has been in contact with Greys for decades, exchanging technology and secret agreements. But what do they look like? Well, Greys are small, thin humanoids standing between 3 to 5 feet tall. Their most distinctive feature is their enormous black almond-shaped eyes, which are covered by a protective film. Beneath this film, their real eyes are much larger and adapted for dim environments. They have no visible ears, no hair, and no external reproductive organs. Their skin is smooth, slightly transparent, and often described as grayish or beige. Interestingly, some autopsies of alleged gray bodies suggest that their skin is covered by biosynthetic film, possibly for protection in different planetary environments. Their mouths are small and barely functional, as they do not have teeth, vocal cords, or a digestive system. Instead, it is believed that Greys absorb nutrients through their skin or consume a liquid diet. In addition, you may be wondering, are they biological beings or artificially engineered? One of the most controversial theories about the Greys is that they might not be a naturally evolved species at all. Their bizarre anatomy suggests that they could be biological constructs or genetically engineered beings designed for specific tasks. Some researchers propose that they are a worker race, either created by another alien species or used as remotely controlled avatars. This would explain why in UFO crashes, grays are often found wandering aimlessly, showing no fear or instinct for self-preservation. Witnesses have described them as behaving like robots, following tests but lacking independent will. Studies from alleged recovered gray DNA suggest a hybrid genome containing both terrestrial and alien genetic material. Their bodies seem fragile, yet their brains are larger than a human's, with an advanced cerebral cortex that suggests heightened intelligence and telepathic abilities. Gray aliens do not speak verbally. Instead, they are believed to communicate entirely through telepathy. Abductees often report hearing clear, structured thoughts inside their heads, even when the grays do not move their mouths. Some people claim that gray telepathy is so advanced that they can implant thoughts, erase memories, and even create realistic illusions in the human mind. This has led to theories that grays are responsible for missing time, where abductees forget large chunks of their encounters, only remembering them later through hypnosis. So are the grays friendly visitors or something more sinister? Truth is, no one really knows. They don't come offensively, they don't attack cities, and they don't seem interested in making direct contact with humanity at large. But that doesn't mean they're here with good intentions. Most encounters with grays follow a disturbing pattern of abductions. People are taken from their homes, their cars, even their beds in the dead of night. They wake up in a sterile metallic room, paralyzed, unable to move, as strange figures surround them. There are no words, just an overwhelming presence in their minds, telling them to stay calm. Then, the experiments begin. Abductees describe medical examinations, sometimes invasive, sometimes painful needles, implants, genetic sampling, and then suddenly, it's over. They wake up back where they started, confused, missing hours of their lives with only fragmented memories of what happened. Some say the grays are cold, indifferent scientists, simply studying us, much like we study animals in the wild. They don't wish to harm us, just observe and collect data and continue their research. Others, however, see something more sinister. They don't ask for permission. They don't offer explanations, and they don't seem to care about the fear they create. To them, humans might not be anything more than lab rats. For those that encountered insectoids, they describe an overwhelming telepathic force, an intelligence far greater than our own. Unlike the gray, whose telepathy often is described as cold and robotic, the insectoids' thoughts are powerful, consuming, and sometimes deeply unsettling. They don't just speak into your mind, they invade it. Abductees report that these beings can read emotions, extract memories, and even project vivid images or sensations into the human brain. Some describe a feeling of complete exposure, as if the insectoids could see every secret, every thought, and every fear inside of them. And unlike the grays, who are frequently described as scientists or workers, the insectoids seem to hold a higher position in the hierarchy of alien species. Some abductees claim they have witnessed insectoids overseeing gray aliens as if they were in charge of abduction operations and medical experiments. But the most disturbing reports come from those who have seen both grays and reptilians working together under insectoid supervision. Could the insectoids be a ruling class, orchestrating abductions, genetic experiments, and interspecies interactions from behind the scenes? If so, what is their true agenda? One of the earliest recorded insectoid encounters happened in 1947 in Langley, British Columbia, Canada. A 16-year-old boy and his younger brother were sitting near a creek reading books when a massive dome-shaped craft descended from the sky. It landed just a few feet away from them, and from it emerged 5 towering mantis-like creatures wearing dull, silvery clothing. Terrified, the older boy stood to run. But before he could move, one of the insectoids rushed forward, snatching the book from his hands. The creature clicked and chirped as it examined the pages, then turned to the boy, placing a long clawed appendage on his shoulder. What happened next changed him forever. In that moment, his mind was no longer his. A powerful telepathic message filled his thoughts. Do not look up when the craft departs. The words were not spoken. They were simply known, as if they had always been there. Shaken, he relayed the message to his brother, and both boys pressed their faces to the ground, obeying the strange command. As the creatures inspected their craft, the air around them grew thick and heavy with heat. Then, in a deafening roar, the ship lifted off, disappearing into the sky. The boys were left dehydrated and weak, but otherwise unharmed. But the memory of that encounter would never fade. So we've all heard stories of aliens watching from the skies, abducting humans, and experimenting on us. But what if they were already here? What if they have been among us this entire time, controlling, manipulating, and shaping human history from the shadows? The reptilians, also known as reptoids, draconians, or saurians, a highly intelligent humanoid reptilian species that some believe has infiltrated human society, hiding in plain sight. Unlike the Greys, who appear in fleeting encounters, and the insectoids who observe from the sidelines, reptilians are believed to have a deep-rooted control over human civilization itself. But who are they really? And more importantly, what do they want? The origins of the reptilians are widely debated. Some believe they are extraterrestrials from the Draco constellation, specifically from the star system Thuban, an ancient celestial body, long associated with power and mystery. Others claim they are not from another planet at all, but rather an ancient species from Earth itself, the descendants of dinosaurs that survived the Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction event and evolved in secret over millions of years. And then there's the most disturbing theory of all, that they are not extraterrestrial or terrestrial, but extra-dimensional, crossing between realities, able to shift in and out of our perception. Whichever theory you believe, one thing remains the same. They seem to be here, and they have been for a very, very long time. Unlike the Greys, who are frail, small, emotionless, reptilians are described as tall, muscular, and imposing. They are covered in scales, sometimes green, brown, or even deep red. Many reports describe them as having sharp claws, serpent-like eyes, and in some cases, long tails. But what makes them truly terrifying is their ability to disguise themselves. Some believe that reptilians can shapeshift, taking on human form to blend seamlessly into society. Others claim that their disguises are not physical, but rather a psychic illusion, a form of mind control that tricks humans into seeing them as one of us. If that's true, then how many of them are already among us? One of the most chilling aspects of the reptilian legend is the belief that they do not just live on Earth, but beneath it. It is said that deep underground, hidden from human eyes, lies a vast network of reptilian cities, complete with advanced technology, transportation systems, and monorails that stretch across the planet. Their entry points allegedly are marked by the Ouroboros, the ancient symbol of a serpent devouring its own tail, meant as a warning for humans to stay away. Some claim these underground bases connect to major locations across the globe, including Antarctica, the poles, and even Mount Shasta in California. And yet, no one has ever proven they exist, or maybe no one has ever come back to tell the story. One of the most famous and controversial conspiracy theories surrounding the reptilians is the idea that they are not just infiltrating human society, but ruling it. Think about it. What better way to control a planet than to install your own kind at the very top? In the UK, there are theories that suggest the British royal family is not human at all, but reptilian in disguise. This idea was popularized by David Icke, a former sports broadcaster turned conspiracy theorist who claims that every royal bloodline, including the monarchy of the United Kingdom, has reptilian ancestry. He suggests that reptilians have been breeding into the most powerful families for centuries, ensuring that their influence over human civilization remains absolute. Theories about the reptilians vary widely. Some believe they are simply power-hungry, bent on controlling humanity through politics, finance, and social influence. Others, however, believe something much more sinister. Some say they feed on negative human emotions, manipulating wars, disasters, and global crises just to fuel their hunger. Others claim they literally consume human flesh, abducting people and using them as food. And then there are those who believe they are preparing for something even bigger, a total takeover, where they will drop their disguises and claim Earth as their own. Not all alien encounters are terrifying abductions or shadowy government conspiracies. Some contactees tell a different story, one of guiding us, one of wisdom, and one of a peaceful mission to help humanity. The Pleiadians, for example, also known as Nordic aliens, are a race of tall, luminous beings said to originate from the Pleiades star cluster. Unlike the cold, emotionless Greys or the sinister reptilians, the Pleiadians are often described as benevolent watchers, concerned with humanity's spiritual and ecological future. But who are they really? And are they here to help us, or are they just another mystery wrapped in deception? According to some reports, Pleiadians come from planets called Era and Tamir, located within the Eta system of the Pleiades star cluster, a group of stars 44 light years away from Earth. Physically, they are almost indistinguishable from humans. They are described as tall, with strong, well-proportioned physiques, fair to tan skin, and piercing blue or green eyes. They have long golden hair and have a radiant appearance, which has led some to compare them to ancient depictions of gods or angels. But their most fascinating trait is that they are said to be genetically related to humans, descendants of the ancient lions, a supposed progenitor race that seeded life across the universe. If this is true, could humanity itself be part of something much larger than we ever imagined? Unlike the Greys who abduct humans for experimentation, or the reptilians who are accused of ruling from the shadows, Pleiadians are said to be concerned with the well-being of Earth. Many reports claim that Pleiadians communicate telepathically offering guidance on spiritual enlightenment, environmental protection, and the dangers of war and human corruption. During the 1950s, Pleiadian encounters were especially common, particularly in Europe, where many claimed to receive visions and warnings about the future of humanity. They spoke of ecological disasters, conflicts, and the importance of global peace, urging humans to abandon destructive paths before it's too late. One detail that makes their presence even more intriguing is that they don't just talk about humanity's future, they warn us about the Greys. Reports on the relationship between Pleiadians and Greys vary. Some say that Pleiadians are the true leaders of the Greys, directing them in cosmic affairs and maintaining balance. Others claim that the Pleiadians and Greys are bitter enemies, locked in a silent struggle over the fate of humanity. So if the Pleiadians are really here to help humanity, why has no official first contact ever been made? One of the most famous Pleiadian figures in UFO lore is Ashtar Sharan, a mysterious entity who allegedly speaks through human mediums, delivering messages of peace, unity, and enlightenment. In 1952, UFO contactee George Van Tassel claimed to receive the first transmission from Ashtar, introducing the idea that Pleiadians were watching over Earth, preparing us for a new era of cosmic awareness. Soon dozens of people began claiming to receive Ashtar's messages, each presenting widely different predictions, some claiming that extraterrestrials would soon land on Earth, others insisting that civilizations existed on other planets in our solar system. Pleiadian encounters never stopped. Since 2008, rumors have circulated about a classified Pleiadian initiative known as First Contact, where Pleiadian beings allegedly reached out to hundreds of individuals across the world. While the program is said to have ended, some claim that the Pleiadian presence on Earth remains active in a handful of chosen individuals. So if all this is true, which is basically what Dr. Eric Davis briefed Representative Burlison and the rest of Congress on this past May, why don't extraterrestrials just come out to the rest of humanity? I'm not sure. But I do know that his statements at such a high level to Congress marks a tremendous milestone. My name is Al Barrows. This has been UFO Disclosure. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.